Hello, beautiful world, and welcome to Raven Thissel Live. Now, we are here to help you live your best life now. We share insights to cultivate your holistic being, body, mind, and spirit. And today, we will be joined by holistic health coach and yoga teacher Sonia Park. She's going to visit us all the way from beautiful Udine, Italy. Now, before we introduce our guest, I want to shout out tonight's sponsor, Crowned and Calm Co., which is a holistic wellness brand centered on meditation and mindfulness, specifically for Black Americans who have some of the highest demographic rates of stress-related illness. Crowned and Calm Co. Has a website, crownedcalm.com, where you'll find teas, hoodies, and other merch that will help inspire kings and queens around the world to think about their emotional and mental wellness. So thank you to my friends at Crown and Calm Co. for supporting tonight's episode. Now, today's fact check is a shallow dive into the world of herbal aromatherapy. The use of plant oils can be traced back over 6,000 years. The Chinese, the Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans all recognize the therapeutic properties of essential oils and plant extracts when they are breathed in. Aromatherapy is an art and a science, and it's used to help us to balance, harmonize, and promote health in our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. It seeks to explore the psychological and physiological and spiritual realms of an individual's response to aromatic extracts, as well as to observe and enhance the individual's healing process. Now, certain scents have been proven to change the way that we perceive and deal with our thoughts and feelings. Rosemary essentially used sometimes for cognitive support and improving brain health. And lemon essential oil is often used to purify the body and to lift the spirits. Now that we have talked a little bit about aromatherapy, I hope you're inspired to do some research and explore how you can incorporate natural oils and extracts and different scents and fragrances into your daily life to improve your health and also your quality of life. Right now, I smell lavender and it is giving me calm and it is giving me purified and clean, and I'm enjoying that today. Now, we have the privilege of sharing space with a radiant and powerful woman who describes herself as being supremely dedicated to helping people find health and empowerment. Please help me welcome my dear friend, Sonia Park.
Hello.
Hi, Sonia.
Hello, Raven.
It's so wonderful to see you.
So happy to be here with you after some years, and I'm very, very excited, very excited to be here with you. Thank you for the lovely intro.
Of course, it's the least that I can do. So, Sonia is a dear friend of mine. I want to share how we met. So, when I was living in North Italy, about an hour north of Venice, I enrolled at that time in holistic health coaching school at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. I felt it was time for me to finally put my passion for holistic health to the test and get some education. The last thing I was expecting was that I would have a classmate in the same holistic education program living nearby.
In Italy.
In Italy. So,
yeah.
Sonia, I can't remember the exact details. Maybe there was a forum during that program where they kind of opened the door for us to connect with people who were living nearby.
Yes.
Was that how that went?
Yes, it was definitely something like that, where we were able to chat and work with some of the other coaches and get to know the other coaches in our area. Yeah.
Yes. So Sonia was living in Udine, Italy at the time. And are you still in Udine now?
Yes, I'm still here in Udine. So in the far northeast of Italy, it's about an hour from Venice, as you know, and very close to where you were staying. And yes, I am a Korean speaking Italian here in Italy. So yes, I do speak Italian. And it's very beautiful part of Italy.
Yes.
Right on the border of Slovenia, Croatia, and Austria. Yeah.
Yes, I loved it there so much. The
Yeah.
architecture, the food, the
Oh,
simple way people approach life, as a, as opposed to in America where everything is just very driven around money and there's so much stress around how much you can produce, and the culture is very much built around efficiency. And what I felt when I was there in Italy was just this phenomenal shift where the culture was really more based around family. Obviously, there is a commercial aspect to things everywhere, anywhere you go in the world. But
yeah,
I felt so much more at peace living there because of the slower pace of life.
yeah,
People taking breaks, everything closing down at a certain time of day so that everyone could go home and have lunch with their family. That's just unheard of for where I'm from. So I thought it
yeah,
was just wonderful, Sonia. And
yeah.
if you notice, if you're listening closely, you can hear that Sonia's English has an Australian accent.
Yes.
So tell us about your journey, Sonia. Tell us about your journey because you have a lot of international things happening here.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I won't go back to when I was very, very young, very, very small. But yes, I'm Korean born, Korean family. And we grew up in Sydney, Australia. So I'm Australian. So I grew up speaking Korean and English and Australian English. But the last 18 years I've been here in Italy because my husband's Italian. And so I have had to learn Italian. Um, I'm how did I get into yoga? Um, and how did I get into holistic? Well, I think it kind of started when I got pregnant, just before I got pregnant with my daughter. I actually was working you don't know this about me, Raven, but I worked in the wine business
Oh,
before I got pregnant and all of that. I was actually traveling around the world with a wine business, a very famous winery here in the northern part of Italy, very big name. And I was actually looking after their export markets for them, and I was traveling everywhere, like, from Brazil to the States and all around Europe. And yeah, it was pretty full on at the time because the traveling and being away from home and so forth, but just a wonderful experience because I got to see, I went to Russia and, I went to places that, you wouldn't normally go to, and in the wine business. So it was just wonderful. Met a lot of really interesting people and beautiful, beautiful, very privileged to be in beautiful restaurants and beautiful places. But I don't know. I think there's something in me that always went towards health and, sleeping at different hours all the time, traveling back and forth. It was just not agreeing with me. And when I got pregnant, I really started to look at what it is that I wanted to do. And I really wanted to go into health and holistic health and how we can, all take care of ourselves, how we can take care of our mental health, our physical health, our well-being. I think it is so important right now, even more with all the pandemic and all that's happening around the world. Being in charge of our health, being responsible for our health. So I naturally went into something that I loved, and that started with yoga. So I started practicing yoga with a book. And
mm,
then, because back then in Italy, here in Udine, as you know, yoga, no one even knew what yoga was. They knew what Pilates was, or, just exercises in the gym. But like 10, 12 years ago, no one really knew even what yoga was, let alone Ashtanga yoga, which is what I'm teaching and what I practice. So I started with a book, and then I couldn't make sense of it. And then I thought, that's it, I have to travel. And I started traveling for, going to see big masters around the world. And that led me to India. And then I went to Mexico, and then I went to the States to be fully certified.
wow.
And then, yeah, that was just after my daughter was born. I thought, okay, I really need to deepen my knowledge about it. And so I did that, came back, and then I just started sharing the practice of yoga. And what I really loved about yoga was just, the detoxifying in effect, just making us strong from the inside, and just being able to realign the body using the breath. Just it does help you to transform who you are through the practice of yoga. And so I started teaching yoga, and that then came to the study of holistic health, nutrition, and health coaching. And it just all blended in nicely, you know. And then I went on to study also mindset coaching, with a lot of the NLP, neuralistic language programming modalities. And it all kind of just comes nicely together, like the mind, the body, and the breath, basically. So it has been an incredible journey, and I'm sure there's so much more. I'm looking forward to doing so much more, but right now I think there's more. I'm really excited to work with people on all these levels, you know, with their health, and empowering men and women to achieve a more powerful, a more holistic, purpose-driven life through changing the way we eat, the way we think, the way we move, and we care for our bodies, especially our energy, you know, making our energy precious, and, you know, really being able to distribute the energy in a really nice way, not just giving it out to everyone, you know. So yeah, this is in a nutshell, this is my journey. What else can I tell you? It's
what a gorgeous journey. So I want to hone in, if we can, just really quickly on the transition from the wine business into becoming a yoga instructor. And then you were pregnant and becoming a mom at that time. Did you take a break, you know, to mother before you jumped into holistic health, or was there sort of a merging or an overlap there? A lot of people want to make a shift from their careers and move into this space, but feel kind of uncertain about how. So can you tell us a little bit more about what that part of your journey looked like, the transition?
Right. Yeah, the transition. So in the beginning, obviously, I couldn't, you know, completely say goodbye to the wine world and, you know, hello, new world of holistic health. I actually did some part-time in the beginning, and I tried to see if that worked out. It did work out for a moment, like for like a year or two. I was traveling less, because we decided that I wanted to actually take care of my own daughter, at least the first 3 to 4 years of her life, where I'm actually with her and, you know, taking care of her, instead of, you know, getting a babysitter and being with a babysitter like 6 hours a day while I was at work. We just didn't see, me and my husband, we actually didn't see the point of that. There was no sense in that. And so I renounced a little bit to my job, did that part-time. And then when she was a little bit bigger and she was able to go to preschool, then I transitioned. I kind of tried to go back on a full-time basis, also for economic reasons, because we had bought a house at the time as well. There was a lot of things going on at that time. Really. Yeah.
That's a lot.
We were building a house as well. And and so, it just happened, I guess, naturally. I kind of shifted back and forth. And then after I set up my own studio here in Udine. And then from there, I decided that I no longer wanted to travel for a company. If I traveled, I wanted to travel for me. Because it's, you know, traveling for a company means that you're in and out of hotels, you're in and out of airports, you're in and out of meetings, but you're not really traveling. You're just going back and forth. And I really wanted to travel for me, and I decided to slowly release this job and then concentrate fully on yoga, holistic health, and studying more, educating myself more, and sharing more with everyone here. And honestly, doing all that also in Italian, Raven, has been a big challenge for me. So that's another huge challenge. Yeah. Wow. Now that
Yeah,
I'm thinking about it, it has been very
it's a
um,
lot.
it's a lot. I've never really thought of it that way, but yeah, it's quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look how powerful you are. Like just in even just taking one excerpt of maybe a 3-year period of your life and looking at how you navigated that part of your life, I think it just speaks to how powerful you are.
Yeah.
To becoming a mother is just a huge life transition in so many ways, body, mind, and spirit. And you
Yeah.
have to give parts of yourself that you've never had to give before. And you have to consider things you've never considered before. It's a whole new world in itself. But to do that as a as a and an English speaker in an Italian sort of environment, and then traveling the world for this sounds like kind of a demanding role.
Quite a
Um,
demanding role. Yeah.
yeah, and then also finding the courage to be very true to yourself and say, I really am interested in this. Let me take a chance and put my toe in the water, even if it's part time, just to see. It's
Yeah.
just so brave, Sonia, to have so many places where you're being pulled in different directions and you're pouring
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
yourself in these different ways. And then you have a marriage. Um, and then
Yes.
you'll say, I want to be me. I want to discover something new about me. Let me try that. I just
Yeah.
think that's incredible. I love it. Thank you for sharing
Thank,
that.
thank you. And thank you for being able to really getting down and seeing all these details. It's just, you're so enriching. To talk with you is just, it's like therapy. Yeah. Wonderful.
Good. I love therapy.
Yes. Yes,
So
me
I would love to know more
too.
about your approach to holistic wellness and your perspective for living well. We had a brief phone conversation a few weeks ago, and just listening to your perspective just had me feeling on a high for the rest of the day. So
Really?
tell me more about, yes, it makes me feel so full to hear people who are really sure about their where they're coming from with what they're doing and why they're doing what they're doing. So share that with us, please.
Well, goodness me. Where do I start? I think we all really need to take time to relax and cure and ourselves. So we
Mm,
really need to be intentional about this. That's the first place I would start. Normally, I would actually even get a person to. I have found that I have lots of great results when I get the person to actually do a detox. Okay, and somehow this cleanse, detoxification helps to defog the brain, helps reduce inflammation, all of these things that are happening in the body. And finally, it actually reduces stress, and it calms the mind so that then they're ready and more open, with more openness and calmness to make changes in their life. Okay. And habits. We as health coaches really want to help people change their lifestyle. It's not about dieting, it's not about sacrificing or depriving ourselves of something. We really want to help people just live better, live more powerfully by changing their lifestyle. So that's where I would start, like really help people understand that they have to be the one who are responsible for their happiness, for their
mm,
energy,
mm,
for their body, for their health. Be responsible for what you're putting in your body, what you're drinking, not only with, food, but also what you're putting in your mind, what you're allowing into your space. That's what that can also be toxic as well. The people
yes.
that you talk to, the conversations that you have, the conversations that you have with yourself, with
Mm,
ourselves, and the dialogue. I really get people to hone in on what it is that they're saying to themselves. So from the outside, we say one thing, but on the inside, we're saying something else. And things get really beautiful and magical and interesting when we dig deep to really discover what's blocking them,
Mm,
what are their limiting beliefs.
mm,
And I get a really big vibe when I find what their limiting belief is said in their own words.
mm,
You can see them vibrating. You say, yes, that's it, because we have lots of limiting beliefs. But when we get to the core central limiting belief or negative emotion, they just go ding, and they just like, yeah,
mm,
that's it. And that's where we can start dismantling that. So I guess what I'm saying is the place to start is really responsibility, mindset, being in changing the mindset, uh, to any transformation that we want to make. So if we want to make some health transformation, or in the workplace, or in relationships, in all the areas of our lives, first it's the mindset. We really need to go and work on that. Detoxify the body. We need to clean out some of the old stuff that we have accumulated. Every
yeah,
so often we need to do that, just like we do, like I don't know, a spring clean of the house, or clean out the car, or something like that. We need to keep the body clean to be able to and burn like clean fuel, let's say. um,
mm,
but at the same time enjoying what we're making. So the other thing, what I'm seeing is, from my perspective, is like people think, oh, I'm going on a diet, or I'm doing this, or I shouldn't be eating that. No, let's look at all the beautiful, delicious foods that we can eat, and let's turn it into something that you like. And people eat because they just want to release, they don't want to be hungry, they don't want to feel hungry. But the way I grew up eating was every meal, Raven, was an event.
wow.
I mean, in a Korean culture, every meal is like, I don't know if it could be like a Korean barbecue, or a steamy hot pot, but it was like sweaty, and getting into the food, and it was like, oh man, it's like when I've eaten the food, I come out of it like I've detoxified myself, like through the food, like there's got to
Wow.
be that enjoyment. We've got to enjoy food and make food work
Mm.
for us, and not the food working us.
Oh,
You know.
wow. That's powerful, Sonia. And what I hear you, wow, we eat in most of us, myself included, a lot of the time,
Yeah.
eats in response. We feel hungry and we respond by eating instead of being a proactive participant in what the food experience will be for us and what the
Yeah.
food will do for us. And that
Yes.
you said something when we were talking before that I have been ruminating on ever since. And I know, how you hear somebody say something or you read something and you immediately absorb it into your lifestyle. You
Yes.
said this, you said, we need to live in creation and
Yes.
not live in reaction. And
Yes.
I was just like, man, that is something that I have to carry with me in all things. What do I want to create? And there's a conversation. I'm an artist as well. I'm an artist. I'm a
I
painter
didn't
and a
know that.
writer,
Yeah.
and um, and I like to inform people from a mental health perspective about the need for creation and tapping into our creativity. A lot of people will say, "Oh, I'm not creative." But that's simply not true. And what I hear you echoing is this idea that I'm always sharing, that we are all creators. We're constantly creating something. Our conversations are creating. When we make a meal for ourselves, we're creating. Even when we dream at night, what are we creating? What are we creating with our thoughts? I would love to hear you talk more about what it means to you to live in creation.
Yeah. So everything. I mean, I think it's become very popular now. We've seen it on so many social platforms. Your thought becomes reality, basically. So if we take this notion and we look at it, well, okay, that means I can create what I want. But most people don't really. I mean, even me, if I go back 10 years ago, I didn't really think about it. And as I moved forward into holistic health, just more and more, this is becoming so clear that all of us, we have to stop living in reaction to everything, and start living from within us, the center of us, who we are, and in creation constantly. To do that, I think we really need to work, all of us, on ourselves, and that means even on a daily basis. We need to create these rituals. We need to understand, for example, how the mind works, how our thoughts work. I really am very, very interested in brain science lately, like neuroscience, and what's happening in our brain, the latest research on brain and function, and the stuff that they're discovering is just amazing. How it also correlates, and it's just confirming the spirituality as well. So it's amazing what's happening right now. And I'm very, very excited, and I'm just so hungry for that information right now. But if you think, when I look at thoughts and I try to explain this to my clients, thoughts are just thoughts. Okay. And, what we believe is so important about how we're going to create our life, okay, going forward. Because our beliefs then create kind of like the thoughts, and then the thoughts create the feelings in our body. The feelings then create the actions that come to place, or don't come to place, and then it creates the results, and the results usually can reconfirm the initial thoughts or beliefs. And we get kind of trapped in this loop of negative thinking. So it's so important, first of all, to understand that there is something like this in place. We need to come out of that loop, and then we can transition into thinking, okay, well, then what am I going to think about that's going to create what I want and how I want to live my life? Okay. And creating more empowering thoughts compared to the old loop that we were in before. So just going around and around. Normally, it's wonderful when I can actually sit down with someone, we have a real conversation, and we talk about all the limiting things, all the limiting beliefs, because as soon as I want to do something, all these limiting beliefs come up, or negative emotions. And then I don't know how to come out of that loop. So that would be the first stage. And then from there, just once we understand the basics of how the human brain works, then you kind of go, well, okay, there I go again. I'm doing that. And then I can change my beliefs. Okay. And that could be beliefs in terms of health, belief in terms of the relationship that I want, in terms of the career that I want to create, the relationship that I want to have with my kids, with my husband, with the community. It's just in relation to everything. So really changing the belief and getting ourselves into more empowering belief. And then if we dig deeper, it's like the dialogue that we were talking about before, about the dialogue that we have with ourselves. So we need to go into that and kind of break that apart and kind of like make like smantellare, how do you say in English? You need to weaken the legs of the table, so that then the table just comes down, that belief just comes down, and then we can put in a new, more empowering belief to move forward. There's a lot of talk about this, but the brain has this reticular activating system, which I'm really fascinated about. And what you believe, the brain, because it needs to go be very energy efficient, allows you to see only that what you believe. It won't allow you to see the So once I change the belief, then I see something else. It's like the famous example is like when you want to buy that car, you suddenly see that car everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you heard about that? Like
Yes.
when to do your painting in a house, you might see that, and you might actually meet a lot of painters who are able to paint the house, whereas before you weren't, you didn't know one person who paints your house, or you never saw that car. But yeah, it's the brain allows you to see what you allow to see. So we really need to kind of get an understanding of that. And then you can really start to let's say, re-engineer your thoughts, like really kind of take a step back and say, hey, what am I thinking about? Why am I thinking that way? What is a more empowering way to think so that I can move towards my goals and my dreams and my soul whisperings,
Ooh, soul whisperings. I like that.
Oh, God. That just came out from my
I
soul.
like that.
So yeah, I think it's really fascinating how we can really re-engineer our inner world
Mm,
to become more powerful and to live more in creation. And when you understand this, you start to react less because, you understand that a thought is just a passing thought. And it's the meaning that I put to that thought
mm,
that becomes reality, becomes kind of like,
mm,
yeah, that's what you experience. That's what we experience. So to know that I can change my thoughts and put a different meaning to the thought, associate a different meaning to that thought, really puts the power back into who I am and what I want,
mm,
Whereas we get caught up with just being dragged left, right, and center all day, reacting to people's
mm,
eating because the publicity or the ad says eat this and you're going to be this, and it's really, I think that the pandemic and all of this has really given us the opportunity, and I'm so grateful to really understand this and really take charge of our inner world. It's
mm.
to evolve, time to evolve, all of us from this point of view. I think that's the next human, evolution, where we really learn to manage our energy, our thoughts, and learn to really live in creation, moving forward. Yeah.
That's beautiful, Sonia. I love the terminology that you use for things.
Oh,
You
wow.
said our inner world. I think that is just a brilliant way to consider ourselves going forward, to remember and to really recognize
Yeah.
that this is a lyric from a song that I like. There's a universe inside of you.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of how in health coaching school, that was my first real introduction and deep dive into the microbiome, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like the microbiome and how there's this entire ecosystem inside of us. And then there's our chakra system, our spiritual systems that are working in us and the different layers of that. And then there's our neurological systems and our brain and how it's connected to different things. That is an entire world. And it's so important for us to be committed to exploring that world, to understanding that world, to caring
Yeah.
for the different aspects of that world as it grows and changes with us throughout our lives. And
Exactly.
then we become these better epicenters as we go out into the world around us of light and of health and a beacon for other people to then kind of create this infectious sort of chain of positivity and beauty around us. And I think that's what you do for a living. That's what you've shined on me. And
Thank you.
and I'm grateful for that. Now you've talked about how that thought and belief system works and how we kind of get into that loop. What does that loop do to our health?
Wow. From a health point of view, it really does wreak havoc, because when the belief right now, most people that I come in contact with, what I have found is that, they all want to go on a diet. The ladies always say, I got to lose a few pounds or a few kilos. I need to lose weight. And oh my God. And and you can already see it in their face and in their body. They're just depressed or
Mm,
being anxious about it. And so that already goes into a cascade of negative thinking. And the word diet then comes out. And that is when I think has the most detrimental effect. So the word diet, I think that's the first thing
mm.
we need to do, is like ditch the word diet,
Ditch the
um,
diet. Got it.
ditch the diet, ditch the diet, ditch the word
Ditch
diet.
the
Like,
word diet.
yeah, yeah, we really need to get rid of it. instead of getting into a mindset of, wow, how can I give more beautiful things to my body? How can I give more nutrient dense foods to my body? How can I exercise in a way that's good for me, which is sustainable? How can I nurture my, my free time and do things that nourish me, not only from a food point, but just nourishes me on a deep soul level. So instead of looking at this, the first thing most people say is, I want to lose a couple of kilos.
Yeah.
And they want to do that with, not having to change food and not having to change the lifestyle.
Yeah.
They want to have less stress. But, like, having less stress means, we need to kind of reshuffle things and redesign our life so that, we're creating that space intentionally and work towards our health and work towards, being more powerful in our body. So there is a very bad, it really does not help when we want to go into a diet situation. And that's the first thing we need to get rid of. And coming back also to what we were talking about, this loop, once we get into that, then you're in the loop and you're thinking, okay, normally it's like, I need to lose weight because I don't feel attractive, or I'm not good enough, I'm not beautiful enough, and so forth. And then that produces thoughts and feelings which are congruent to that. Then that produces actions that are not conducive to, taking more health, a better health, self-care, love. It just, again, feeds into the negative loop situation. And then it goes into results, obviously, that confirm that doesn't really, there are no results. And then the results go back to feed into the initial thinking of, okay, I need to lose weight. Okay. And then it goes into, losing, not having that confidence, feeling, just really negative about your own body. And it doesn't have good effect on our mindset, on our body, on our health in the long run. So we really need to go into working on the mindset, and then from there going into all the different areas of our life to create more health and and well-being, just well-being.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder, I know this is something that I find with my clients too. And I consider myself a self-love coach.
Self-love.
So I love to start us off in a conversation about, after I've listened, I've heard how you want to lose weight, and I've heard all the negative things you have to say about yourself, and you're beating yourself up about your habits and what you used to look like 20 years ago.
Yeah, the big one.
Yeah. And I want to introduce this idea that we're giving something to your body because we love her, right? Not because we hate her, not because we're so unhappy with her and she's not doing what we want her to do. That's not a way to get a result from anyone. Why would it be a good way to get a result from our own bodies, the ones that have carried us from the time we entered this planet and the ones that will be there for us when we exit? And when I think about the brilliant things you're sharing about this loop, it reminds me of this piece of scientific evidence that I have just been so excited about for the last maybe 3 years. And I'm just as excited about it today as I was when I learned it. And that is that when we speak to water, the molecular structure of the water changes, right? Like if we're saying positive things to the water, it creates these beautiful snowflake-like, gorgeous, ornate patterns. And when we speak negatively, it creates these really malevolent, sort of dark, evil-looking shapes that are malformed. And people have done the same studies with plants, where the plant, when you speak to it, it blooms and it's vibrant. And you've got another plant that you give the same amount of light, the same amount of food, and it's getting the negative words, and it's
Yeah.
hanging down. It's not going to live as long. Our
Yeah.
bodies are the same. Our bodies are made so much of water. And so these internal conversations, these loops are informing the water in our body to be healthy and
Absolutely.
strong, right, and make these gorgeous shapes on a cellular level,
Yeah.
or to be unhealthy and deformed and to attract illness and to be to not work together in the way that they're designed to work. So there's so much
Mm.
power in the ideas that you're sharing about how these thought loops work and we get stuck in them. I
Yeah.
think that imagery that you're giving,
Yeah.
it gives people a clear picture that I can step out of it like a
Yeah.
hamster wheel almost.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I actually call it the washing machine. We're inside the washing machine. Just
Yeah,
going.
yes.
Yeah. Um,
Absolutely. So, and I appreciate that you've touched so much on removing the mindset of diet,
yeah.
right? And shifting to the mindset of I'm not going to deprive myself of things. I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on introducing more beauty into my body and into my
Yeah.
lifestyle. That is just a
Absolutely.
gorgeous perspective that
Yeah.
we all need to have.
Yeah.
But I do want to touch back. I would love to hear more.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you shared a little bit about how you start your clients off with a cleanse. And you introduced me to my first cleanse, actually, my first real cleanse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was so effective for me. I can see my before and after pictures in my mind right now.
Yeah.
I think I might share them on the Raven Thistle Live page when I
Wow.
tell you.
Do you
Um,
still have them? Do you still have these photos?
I do. I still have the before and after pictures. I was, when I met Sonia and I was in the health coaching program, I lost 70 pounds on my health journey during that time in Italy. I don't know if I ever told you that, but
You didn't. You
yeah, while I was in, sorry?
you had left, I think, by the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. I had left before I was done with the program, but before I left Italy, I had lost a total of 70 pounds just in changing my lifestyle and my mindset. And, I had had a baby, right when I got there. So I had gained a lot of weight during that pregnancy, not just from the pregnancy, though, from my mindset, from being stressed, from postpartum depression, and the internal conversations that were happening with me while
Mhm.
I was going through postpartum depression.
Wow.
Was a time when I put that weight on. And it was a physical manifestation of the heaviness that I was carrying spiritually and mentally and emotionally. So
Yeah.
shedding that weight over months, slowly and carefully, um, was a process of me shedding a lot of negative beliefs and false beliefs, and shedding the emotional weight of stresses that didn't belong to me. Um, so the cleanse that you put me on
Yeah.
um, was about halfway through that weight loss journey, and I
Yeah.
learned so much about my body
Yeah.
during that cleanse.
Yeah.
So I know now that you offer a cleanse program,
Yes.
right? Can you
Yes.
tell us about cleansing? Tell us about your program.
Okay. So first of all, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing all that beautiful experience, which is, very courageous of you to share that with everyone. That period after having a baby and being in a foreign country and having, even looking after the child. I mean, it's already a big job on its own, but being in a foreign country, there's just so much there, Raven. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I was really privileged to meet you during that period that you did that cleanse. At that time, you did a cleanse which was based with aloe vera and pure aloe vera, which was great. It had some supplements and you had to eat in a certain way. Right now, I have actually got a new program based on food, natural food, all natural food. And there are different phases so that you're doing it gently and delicately. And there's a protocol that's inside that it's going to actually help you change your lifestyle habits. So there are a lot of suggestions as to what we're going to do in the morning, mid morning, lunchtime, mid-afternoon, and the evening. And a lot of it has to do also, it's not only about the food, but it's really taking care of the skin. It's just doing some movement, breathing. There's a lot of little things that we can do. For example, the castor oil. With castor oil pack on your liver, we can actually like do these packs with a
Mm,
warm water bottle, and it helps you just ease, like the anger that we carry and the
mm,
heavy emotion. It just helps to ease and nourish and really support the detox during this 14 days of detoxification. So
wow.
really all natural, holistic way. And I've had some incredible results with a lot of people. And then they say to me, now I know what it means to feel good in my body. And then
Mm,
from that moment on, they go, yeah, let's go forward. I'm ready to do more, and that is beautiful. I just love that, because you can see it in their eyes that they feel better and they're open to working on themselves
mm,
forward. So the cleanse actually allows you to remove all the inflammatory foods, as you know, as we as health coaches. And we do that step by step. And then we have a gradual reintroduction of the foods. Hopefully, a lot of the foods you don't reintroduce, because by then you've learned how to replace these foods with other types of more nourishing, nutrient-dense foods. And
mhm.
so it's actually like a real kind of like an education, spiritual, holistic practice. It's like all kind of everything rolled into one, but it does help you to change your habits. Like
Mm,
when I coach them, I really love for people to develop a little morning routine, because I see a lot of people just waking up in the morning. They're like looking at their watch and their phone, and then they drink their coffee and they're out the door. They get dressed and
mhm.
they get out the door. Halt, stop, everything. We
Yeah.
say halt in Italian. Need, even if it's half an hour, even if it's 20 minutes, we've got to get up in a different way, and we've got to start the day differently and just get the power already in the morning. Otherwise, I'm reacting all day. I'm just
What
this
is your morning routine? If it's not too personal to share.
Oh no, I mean no. Well, lately I'm doing a lot of breathing in the morning. And there are certain breathing techniques, all pranayama based,
Yes.
rhythmic breathing, pranayama, breath retention. Uh, it's just powerful. You just wake up and your eyes feel so much more vibrant. You feel like you're in this world. Like you feel so kind of so with it when you come out of this breathing, and you just do have more energy. And I would love everyone to feel that and feel that in their body. It's just wonderful. In the morning, you do kind of like this quick breathing, and so that actually fire you up for the day and get you loaded with energy. In the evening, a different type of breathing to calm the nervous system down. So I do a bit of breathing, and then do some Tabata, like do some exercises. Because, in the colder months here, in the darker months of winter here in Italy, I really don't feel like getting a bag, going to the gym, coming back. I mean, that's just more stressful, I think, having to go back and forth. So I just do like 10, 15 minutes of intense workout, and then I do some yoga. So not every day it's like full on yoga, but it can be just some sun salutations, which is already vigorous, and you've done some sun salutations, and boy, does that get the heat going in your body. And then I really do try to have a good breakfast. Really do try to have a good breakfast, like sit down and have a good breakfast. And this happens when I'm not teaching in the morning. If I'm teaching in the morning, then I'll skip the breakfast and I'll have the breakfast after, because I can't be jumping up and down and going upside down and doing headstands and so forth. With a big breakfast in my stomach. So yeah, so I do that. But definitely I'm doing a lot of breathing lately. I'm fascinated by how the impact that it has on my mental well-being, on my nervous system, physical well-being. And basically I try to really sweat a little bit every day. I think that's really a key. Like all of us, a lot of women who come to me, they don't sweat, and I want to see them sweat. Like I'm
Yeah.
obsessed. I'm really obsessed about seeing them drenched in sweat. I go, yes,
Yes.
yes, you did it. You know, like I feel so satisfied. And then, like a really hot shower. Like
Mm.
I'm getting people to do a lot of dry brushing. I do dry brushing, hot shower, followed by a cold shower, like even 1 minute, 2 minute. And boy, are you ready to create your day? You know? um, so that's kind of like my morning routine right now. When I'm not teaching like a very early morning class, and I feel very energetic after that. I do have a lot of energy. You feel it in your body. You don't, you just have to try it to experience that. And kind of like a mental note on, okay, what are the things that I need to do today? Even 1 or 2 things that I know I need to get done, and then celebrate once they're done. So I've done my little,
Mm.
I just like to do that. It's just a way of encouraging ourselves. I really think as a holistic health coach, we really need to, the biggest relationship that we need to take care of is with ourselves, first of all.
Yes.
And then everything else kind of falls into place when we're, in our power, and we're kind and gentle to ourselves, and we've worked through all the negative things that have happened in our lives. We all have negative things. We all have had traumas. We've all gone through a lot, all of us. We need to work through them. We need to shine a light on them and move forward with intention, with more ease, deciding to let go of these things. I think that's the most difficult thing is, releasing this burden, this suffering, this negative events that have happened in our lives, So I think the morning routine is so powerful in that, because it really helps you to reflect on this on a daily basis. It's really important to have a little ritual every single day.
Mhm.
And that's how you start your day in creation, and not just reacting. Otherwise, you just end up being pulled in all different directions. You get the emails, you get telephone, you've got your kids, you've got your boss, you got to get there, you got to come back,
Yeah.
and the day just rolls, and you are just being dragged by the day. You're
Mm.
dragged here and there, and your energy is pulled in all different directions, and you're not in creation,
Yes.
in your power. And every day we lose our health like that. Every day we lose a bit of ourselves like that, And sometimes it's hard to come back, because we don't even know where that place is
Yes.
ourselves.
Yes.
So we really do need to have some sort of ritual. It doesn't have to be exactly that, but maybe it could be even during the day, where you sit down and you just kind of sit in silence for 10 minutes and let your brain the sand just falls down, so that you can see a little bit clearer. And I think, for example, breathing really helps with that. I think people underestimate it. They just go, yeah, it's just breathing. But I think we really need to do it like a serious breathing session, and people will get to experience, where people can get the experience of it in their body, and then they will realize the benefits. Just like the detox, for example, people say, okay, it's just a detox, but then they go through a lifestyle change in 2-3 weeks.
Mm.
And then they get it. Once they get it, then you naturally don't want to put those things in the food, because you know the effect of what that food's going to have on your body. Or if you do choose to put it back into your body, you know what the effect is going to be. So you're responsible for you, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So,
you experience what your life is like without it. Like
yeah,
now you've experienced the freedom and the peace of not having it. So
yeah.
then when you reintroduce it, you know the risk, you know exactly what you're putting yourself back into.
Yeah.
I love this is Sonia, you have just enriched me so much because
Thank you.
I I haven't always been in alignment. I haven't always been in spiritual alignment. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so, what I find so beautiful and fascinating is that now that I live in alignment, I meet people who are experiencing the same things and
Yeah.
saying the same things and teaching me more to go farther and go deeper. And I've been on this journey with pranayama very recently, only
Oh,
since the top of the year,
yeah.
and practicing breath work intentionally, and understanding what it's for, you know? So I love that that is a heavily incorporated practice, not just in your work, but also in your life. It's something that we are practicing and learning. And I can't wait to go deeper with that. I feel like we could do an entire show
Goodness.
just on breathing. I really hope that you will come back to the show, Sonia,
Sweet. You're so sweet.
if I haven't scared you off just yet.
No, no, I would love to. I mean, I would love to share anything with your beautiful audience and the people who follow you, and it's just such a privilege. Who would have ever thought that after all these years that we would be talking together like this? And I'm so grateful. I'm so
Yes.
grateful.
Well, who would have thought is me? Because when I meet somebody, Sonia, I don't let people go. You know,
Oh,
I believe that life is just such a gift and no one owes us anything. And so when we have the privilege of sharing space and time with someone, it's so sacred, especially when they volunteer a part of their selves like you've done today and like you did even when I first met you when we met for lunch. Just when people are willing to share and really merge with you for a moment, it's something to be cherished. A lot of people find they get upset when relationships end or and there is pain associated with that, of course, but I find myself leaning into the gratitude of the encounter with someone
yeah,
because it's always a gift, especially
yeah,
someone as beautiful as you. And and I don't believe in letting people go, even if you don't talk to them anymore. Maybe it was a toxic situation where you needed to create space there.
yeah,
I believe in just kind of holding that space. And so when things are in better alignment, I find that I often cross paths with the same beautiful people later in time.
yeah,
So I'm super grateful. So I want to ask you though, before you go,
yeah.
please tell us, what is life teaching you right now?
Wow, that is a really profound question. Beautiful question. Um, right now, as we were chatting a little bit earlier, I'm in my 50s now. And what I'm really discovering is, yeah, I really want to nurture even more this spiritual life. And there's a part of us that is just that we don't see, hear, or touch, but it's there. And the concept of being more compassionate, being a better listener, and the concept of surrendering. I don't know how to explain it very well, but hang on. I have a message for you because I was
Oh,
looking. Yeah, I have a beautiful message for you, and I would like to read a little piece,
yeah,
if that's
share,
okay.
read the whole thing.
I would love to read this because I was looking at it and I thought, oh, I would really love to share this with you. Because on the concept of surrender and a surrender statement, universal mind within me, I forgive my worries,
Mm,
my anxieties, and my small minded concerns, and I give them to you. I trust that you have the mind to resolve them much better than I could.
Mm.
Arrange the players in my world so that doors open for me. Okay. Innate intelligence. I release my suffering and my self-pity to you. I have mismanaged my inner thoughts and actions for long enough. I allow you to intervene and provide a greater life in a way that is just right for me.
Mm.
Okay. And I wanted to
Whew.
share that. And
Wow.
it's this powerful, I don't know, I just find it really powerful right now. And what's teaching me right now in my at this stage of my life is just surrendering and just not worrying so much about everything. Things are going to happen, and the beautiful co-creation that comes when we meet, like-minded people, and the energy that we vibrate. We draw the same type of people that we want to interact with in our lives and create powerful things. So it's having this faith, whether it be God or whether it be the universe or whoever you call it, but there is this larger, bigger intelligence, mind,
Yeah.
world, God, where I feel peace with, and I think about this a lot lately. It's
Yeah.
teaching me a lot, and it gives me kind of a beautiful sense of peace sometimes when I think about this. And yeah, so yeah, I've never shared that with anyone, but yeah, I really wanted to share that with you live.
Thank you. Thank
um,
you.
so thank you for asking me that beautiful question.
Yeah,
But
no, thank you for answering it with something so profound. I can't wait. So what what I do a lot of times is I go back and watch the show and
yeah,
I pause and write things down that the
yeah,
guest was saying. And that is something that I'm going to be
yeah,
writing down and I'm going to stick it on in front of my desk because
yeah,
you said I forgive my worries. Oh
yeah,
goodness. And it is that's volumes of
yeah,
wisdom, just even in that one part of it. The
yes.
whole of what you read. Is that a poem that you wrote?
No, it's actually from a book that I've been reading, Pruning Away the Habit of Being Yourself.
Oh,
Yeah, prune away the habit of being yourself.
wow.
You know,
That's something that I want to read. Thank you for sharing
I'll
that. Thank
share that with you because
you.
it's an incredible book, I think, and I think we all could, read something like that to open our eyes to, just beyond the physical world, and really aligning what's in our heart and in our mind, more in living more from the coherence of the heart and the mind, um, and from who we really are. It's taking me a long time to actually know who really I am,
Mm,
because I come from a culture that doesn't allow you, and I think I rebelled against that for so long. Um,
mm,
because the culture says you have to be a certain way, you have to
mm,
study, you have to become this, you have to become that. And I subconsciously kind of ran away from all of that.
yeah.
And I know that now, but I didn't know that back then. And yeah, it created a lot of, like, suffering inside me. So I've had
Mm,
to work a lot on that, having to be a certain way, be a certain daughter with certain
mhm.
results, you know. But it was
Yeah.
normal. It's normal.
Oh,
The
Sonia. And
yeah.
even with you, I know we talked a couple of times and even right before the show about the fact that you are 50. Look
Yeah.
at you. You look so, you just, I would never, ever, I would have thought maybe 30.
Yeah.
That's where I would put you, the same age as me. But Sonia, I am just blown away. And so with the idea of others telling you what your identity is supposed to be
Yeah.
and how detrimental that is for us on our path to creating ourselves, to
Yeah.
discovering ourselves.
Yes.
Um, I think about the age conversation and how there's an idea that when you are this age, you typically will look like this, you'll think like this, you'll behave like this, you'll do these certain things. You can't do this anymore. And here you are, 50, glowing. You are a holistic health coach. You're upside down teaching yoga at 5 a.m. on a mountain. You are outstanding. Talk to me about, and then I know we're over time, but I just,
Are you over time? Oh, oh my God, it went so fast.
I know.
Oh, wow. What about age? That's
I
a
mean, I know
beautiful
in
topic.
Eastern culture, age is viewed one way, and in Western culture, age is viewed a very different way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in our culture, like age means wisdom, every time. I mean, that's embedded into our language, even. For example, if one person is older than you by 1 year, normally we don't call them by their name. We actually call them like big brother or big sister, or like we have to show and pay respect somehow. And that comes through even in the language.
Mm.
Age is seen as wisdom and knowledge and experience. So yeah, I was telling someone about my mum and me when I was in Australia. They often used to mistake us as sisters, and my mum used to actually get very offended, being the very Korean lady that she is. She said, no, I'm not.
Mhm.
Whereas in the Western culture, they would have taken that as a big compliment and said, yeah, all right, yeah,
My
but
mom does. My mom takes it as a compliment.
yeah,
Yeah.
my mom was totally offended, and she said, no, you have to address me this way because I'm this age and so forth. So it's definitely embedded in the culture. There's a cultural side to it, but I think we all have to embrace age as just being part of the natural process of life, just loving ourselves more and taking care of our body. So when I say that, it doesn't mean, okay, you don't have to care about how you age. We all have to find a beautiful, to age gracefully, elegantly, but not only with our skincare, for example, but with food, with our lifestyle, with how we talk to people, or how less harsh we are on ourselves inside of us. Reduce that volume of all the talk outside of us and increase
Mm.
the volume of what's happening inside of us and make that flourish at every age, because that age doesn't come back.
Mm.
That time and that moment doesn't come back. So I think definitely we can do beautiful things to help our body age gracefully and elegantly through food, nutrition, taking care of, out breathing. Breathing again comes in here. Definitely mindset, all of these things spiritually as well. But yeah, definitely it we need to accept the aging process, the natural, it's just a natural part of life, well, unless, I don't know, maybe science will find a way to, I don't know, rewind some, DNA cells or something like that. I'm sure there's a lot of science behind that right now. But in any case, it's just the life that we live on this earth, and we just try and live that as the best we can, uh, you know, forever
Yeah.
until we go to the next life. So
Yeah.
I think that's a huge topic that we can definitely talk about, and maybe even like there are a lot of things we can do with our skin. I know that a lot of women, for example, want to be able to look after their skin better, and maybe that we could do like a holistic skin
Yes. Yes. So I'm
program.
on this journey. I am on this holistic
Beautiful.
skincare journey right now.
Yeah.
Um, I was unaware, Sonia, of the toxins, the types of toxins that are in
Oh,
conventional
yeah.
skincare products until quite recently. I didn't know that there were known carcinogens and things in the makeup and the lotions. And I read the back of one of my moisturizers and it had red 40 in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, why in the world would I need this toxic chemical here? It doesn't matter if it's pink. I just wanted to make my skin moisturize. So I went on my TikTok and I let everybody know I'm starting this journey of 100% natural and organic skincare and cosmetic journey, and finding the right products. But I haven't. So in the meantime, I'm using oils like kk oil and tamanu oil um, and combining these different combinations of oils to
Oh,
nourish my skin differently.
yeah.
So I would absolutely love to learn from you on this journey, and we could
All right.
totally figure out ways to do this together.
Let's talk about that because I
Yeah.
would really love to go into, of course, more detail. But definitely, I'm looking at building a skin glowing detox program.
Wow.
We have to work from the inside through food and also from the outside with beautiful products. We need, as a Korean person, or okay, let's not refer to me as Korean. As a woman, I've always thought about the, detoxing the skin and doing peels regularly. Like we need to peel off the dead skin. For example, in the Korean culture, we also have like these clubs that we actually go into the bath and we actually, I don't know if you've ever been to a Korean bathhouse, but
I have. I love them.
you got it, you got it. You actually like they actually get in there and
Yes.
they
Yes.
there's a lot of elbow grease in there and you are actually peeling the dead skin off your body. And that's a very holistic way of doing it. But
Yes.
but we can do that at home, and we have gloves, and I actually teach people here to do that. But Italians are not really into that, so I get them to do dry brushing, at least dry brushing. But when you peel the skin, you get fresh skin, and you have radiant skin, and that's at the heart of detoxifying your skin, keeping your skin young and rejuvenated. Okay, doing regular peels and just exfoliating properly. Then the products. This is like, and I've actually talked to some skincare companies here in Udine. Raven,
Wow.
unbelievable. I have to send you some links about these two skincare companies, and then maybe we have to talk. We have to
Yes.
talk. We have to talk. Oh my goodness, that would be such a wonderful project. But the thing I really, really want to say, I'm sorry if we're over time, is
No.
exfoliating the skin so that the products that we put on our skin, which are pure, has to go melt into your
Mm.
skin, right? And keep your skin supple and moist. And moisturization, a
Yes.
simple, natural, powerful moisturization, like not like nutrient dense moisturization. I'm talking about nutrient dense because I'm 50 now. You're 30 and under, so you don't have to worry about that right now. But once you get into like your 50s, you really I think the most important thing is having a powerful, natural, nutrient dense moisturizer. And that really just, and the way you do it, like you kind of like,
Yes.
you just gently and
Yes.
then whatever you put on top of that, like whereas makeup or foundation or whatever, it just sits really nicely and it looks more natural. It doesn't even look like you have a lot of makeup on there. We don't want to be caked on
Yeah.
with makeup. And and then taking it all off properly, like with beautiful products that melt all that excess oil, the makeup, the debris, and all of that off the skin. So we do like two times, three times cleanse in the evening. I always make sure that I cleanse three times, like once with like a oil thing, and then maybe with a mousse, and then with a detergent, and then
Hmm.
getting it all off. And that's
Yes.
all I've been doing really in my life. Like I've never,
Mm.
you know, um, so it's really about getting to know your skin and doing that. When you do a detox, your skin glows. Honestly, your skin just
Mm.
you yeah. And then you've got good skin products, natural skin products. Oh my God, I'm so excited. We have to do a segment on
Yes,
that,
we
honestly.
have to. Oh, Sonia,
Yeah.
and I could go on about this because I used to have really problematic skin,
Yeah.
and I've just learned so much about my own skin and different things. So, Sonia, yes, 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 yes. This is alignment. This is alignment right
Like
here.
breathing, skincare, mindset, health set.
Yes, all of
um,
that.
yeah. So beautiful. Oh my God, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'll send you
Yes.
the links for these two companies that are right here in Udine, and
Wow.
they're actually expanding worldwide. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Now's the time. So tell us, Sonia, how can I and everyone watching
Yeah.
contribute to or take part in your business, learn from you? Is your cleanse available to the world? What do you have that we can continue engaging with you, or social media even that they can follow you?
Well, for example, in the next spring is just around the corner, and I'm offering a spring cleanse, a 14-day spring cleanse, and it's in English, and not only in Italian, but it's in English. So yes, if there are people in your audience, or people who are English speaking in English speaking countries, or even other European countries, I'm open to following them, and they can start. They don't necessarily have to start on the date that I've put, which is the 21st of March, which is kind of like the first day of spring, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want to start on another date, you just tell me, and I will be able to follow you and support you on your detox. So that's something that's just imminent. It's just coming up in the next couple of weeks. If people want to do some coaching, health coaching, lifestyle coaching, habit coaching, releasing negative beliefs, negative emotions, we can work on that on a one-to-one session. What else? A mindset reset program I'm offering as well. It's about 6 sessions together, and we're actually just going to, again, go into really identifying your limiting beliefs, and then kind of reprogramming, helping you to kind of reprogram yourself and developing the lifestyle habits, the morning routines, and so forth, so that you can nurture that for the next month, so that then it becomes natural. It just becomes part of who you are and how the day unfolds for that person. So yeah, so there's some coaching programs, some detox programs, and as I said, it's strange because I'm really looking towards going to do like a skin glowing detox program where we actually do all the skincare as well as doing a detox from the inside. So glowing on the inside and glowing on the outside.
Yes,
That
yes,
would
yes,
be
yes.
beautiful. Yeah.
And can
And
they find these things at sonyapark.com? Where can they connect?
yes, they can connect with me at sonyapark.com. Also on Instagram, Holistic Health, Sonia Park Holistic Health. And also on Facebook, again, Sonia Park Holistic Health. And I'm kind of on LinkedIn right now, but I need to nurture that. have to become a little bit more tech savvy. But yeah, so definitely Instagram, Facebook, and website. And if anyone wants to join the spring detox that's coming up in a couple of weeks' time, would be a great opportunity to actually get that experience of being light and feeling liberated and less stressed and less lethargic and sluggish and low energy. We want to change that. We want to get you to feeling high, vibing high, more energy, glowing skin, and then we can work on the rest.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, everyone, you heard it here first. You can connect with Sonia at sonyapark.com or on her social media channels, which I will share from all Raven Thissel Live platforms everywhere that this video is shared. Sonia, I cannot thank you enough for coming on the show and sharing so much beautiful wisdom with us. And I cannot wait to follow up with you. The producer will pull you backstage, but please don't hang up from the call just yet. I want to talk to you after the show.
Sure.
Do you have any final parting words before you sign out?
Just peace and love and serenity to everyone. Hope to see some of you, maybe work together with some of you. Please feel free to reach out to me for any questions. Just peace to everyone, really. And start creating your life, start designing your life.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Sonia. It was beautiful to have you, and I will see you soon.
Okay.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to this insightful and nutritious episode with plenty of soul food from Sonia Park. And be sure to plan to tune in on next Sunday at 8 p.m. Central, because we will be welcoming a doula, an international award-winning photographer and videographer, and a dear friend of mine to join us. We're going to talk about all things holistic birthing. We're going to talk about traditional hospital birthing. We're going to talk about home birthing. We're going to talk about placenta encapsulation and so much more. Thanks again for tuning in for Sunshine, for Moonlight, and for all the realness in between. I am Raven Thissel, your host, and I will see you next time.